So this video is basically how to vlog. I'm making this video as a way to give you a list of tools that you can use to like develop your own thought process, your own mind, because we are living in a world where everyone is so eager to just shove their opinion down your throat, whether it's social media or AI or like other creators like myself, media or the news or like whatever. It's become very easy to just adopt someone else's views and not really apply critical thinking or just thinking to find out like what you yourself feel about things. It's become very easy to not question what we listen to and not develop our own thought process and opinions and challenge our thoughts. So I'm going to give you a list of tools for that. This is my laptop. These are what my notes are, so anytime with me I'm looking at my notes. And if you want like a bigger debrief into why reflection is important, why thinking for your own self is important in this day and age, especially if you're an artist particularly, then I will link another video for that. Go watch that. So let's just get into it. I'm loving the way that the light is hitting on. Okay, so the first one is books, right? I don't care how you do this, it is so important to read. I have another video of like ways of like a lot of tips of like how you should, of like how to make it easier to read, because it's very difficult to like elongate our attention spans and just get back into reading, but it's so important. So I'll link that video, go watch that. You can use a tracker app, so I use one called Read More, I think. I'll link that as well. You can also on Storygraph, if you're not using Goodreads, if you're using Storygraph, that also has a feature where you can like track your page progress, which makes it easier. It's just easier when you're getting into a habit, you've like built up resistance to it. So if you can like gamify it and like make it fun, if you can like track your pages, your progress, you can do that on Storygraph. So try that. Literally leaving your phone in the other room whilst you read, having a book on your bedside table, having like a nighttime routine where you like read for half an hour before you sleep, or you read first thing in the morning, or like having a dedicated thing, that also helps. Annotating helps a lot. There's so many people who talk about annotating and how to annotate and all of that, but it's best if you just figure out your own relationship to annotating books and how you want to go about that. But like just having a pencil, some book tabs, colorful ones, if that helps you, it helps me. So like pencil in hand, make your cute little notes in the margins, flip the page, read, do that, right? I would suggest a mix of reading. Read about politics, read about climate change, read about different themes, read about, if you're an artist and you want to know more about your particular field, read books by experts in your field who write about their craft, their art. Read about topics that you don't know much about. Read fiction, read so much fiction, read non-fiction, read memoirs, read essays, whatever it is, just do it. I have also another video on like books for self-discovery, which I think is very important. So those are the books that if you want to get to know yourself, have a good like self-relationship and stuff, you should check that video out. The next tool I have for you is journaling. Obviously journal morning pages, having the journal on the bedside so that like first thing you wake up or like last thing before you go to sleep, you can like journal. Again, I cannot stress how important it is to like know yourself. Why do you think the way that you do? Challenge your beliefs. You know, journaling also for improving your relationships, your interpersonal relationships, like showing up, being a better human being, showing up for your family, your friends, like for yourself, getting rid of those, not getting rid of those, but like at least challenging those negative self-talk. And there are so many tools that you can use for this, prompts and all, but also like there's this reflection toolkit by the University of Edinburgh, I don't know how you pronounce that, but amazing university, amazing set of like reflection tools to help you like again challenge your thinking, develop your thinking, expand your thinking. It's a great resource, so I'll link that as well. Next we have, this is linked with journaling, but the next thing I have is use a hybrid Zettelkasten model. If you don't know what Zettelkasten is, I'm gonna link yet another video. Basically Zettelkasten was developed by Niklas Luhmann. He was a German sociologist and philosopher. He has written a lot, thought a lot in his time. He has developed like a huge body of work and stuff, and the way he did that was the system that he developed called the Zettelkasten. Now there were no like phones and I don't think internet and stuff at that time. So what he used to do was like each thought that he had, whether it was like a quote from someone else or like an original idea he had or whatever, he would write it down on an index card, and then he had like a physical system where he would store these cards, and then he would just come back and sit with those notes. Like he would have his thinking time where he would like pull out a card and think about that and then expand on that thought and develop it and stuff. It was really cool, but nobody is going to do that today. And also we have apps now, so check out Obsidian, check out Remnote. I use Remnote for my digital Zettelkasten. I'm going to try to show this to you. I don't know how successful I will be, but is there any sensitive data is what I'm wondering. No. Okay, so can you see this? Yeah, this here list, each of my notes, they are numbered. That there's no name, there's just like a number, because the idea is you want to, each time you're noting something down, you want each individual idea to have its own place in your web of knowledge in the app that you're using. I have a proper video on how to do a hybrid Zettelkasten, so I'll link that, watch that. But the idea is that you are stripping your ideas, your quotes, your thoughts, your observations, stripping them of their context so that they can have their own environment essentially in your the web of knowledge, in your second brain, whatever you want to call it. So like if you look at traditional note-taking systems like Notion, etc., where you have nested folders, right? Each area in your life will become its folder, and then inside that you have those files. But what this system does is that you are giving so much power to each individual thought or idea of yours so that it can grow and become its whole own thing. And what you can do here is that you can link these ideas to each other, which is hard to do in a traditional like note-taking system. But with an app like Remnote or Obsidian, which has interlinking, hyperlinking, backlinking, whatever, you can link, say, note number 23 to note number 19 to note number 100, and like all your ideas can like merge together, and like you can create something beautiful and meaningful. So for instance, I have, and I'll try to include like screenshots somewhere here. I don't love editing, so I can't make any promises, but if I like have the energy time, I'll do that. But suppose, like for an example, I have note number 23 here, which has a quote by Austin Kleon. Austin Kleon wrote this book called Show Your Work. And so there's also tagging systems in modern note-taking apps like this one. So for instance, I've tagged this particular note as book Show Your Work because that's the book that this quote is from. It also goes into the tag of creativity. So the main, like what this note says is, I've written the quote by Austin Kleon, defy perfection, love something more. And below that, I have written my own thought about this quote, which is that if I act out of pure interest and I follow my curiosity and I act out of enthusiasm, energy, and the love that I have for something, then that will be perfection. And now if you see, it's going to be hard to explain without showing it to you. So this is the original thought, right? Like defy perfection, love something more. So then I wrote below that my thoughts on this quote, which is what I just read out to you. And then what you can see in blue here is that I have linked this note number 23 to another note, to another thought that I had. And so then that's what I mean, that in a hybrid Zettelkasten system like this is the digital part of the hybrid system, but you can like link your notes to each other, you can link your thoughts to each other, so you're growing your web of knowledge over time. The thought that I've linked it to, if I click on the blue part that I just showed you the link, that takes me to note number 3A, which has its own different tags. And the particular block of text that I've interlinked this with says that I can get so much work output done if I'm following that logic of defy perfection, love something more. And I've quoted yet another quote by someone else, by Niklas Luhmann, who developed this whole Zettelkasten system. And I've quoted him saying, if I want something, it's more time. The only thing that really is a nuisance is the lack of time. So when I came across this quote, what I just read out to you, what Niklas Luhmann said, he said this, that the only thing that is a nuisance is the lack of time. This is where I wanted to be. I remember I read this book called How to Take Smart Notes, which basically breaks down this whole note-taking system of Zettelkasten, written by, I forgot who it's written by, but it's basically based on Niklas Luhmann's philosophy. I have another video breaking that down. That was my first video on YouTube. I'll link that as well. But basically, what he's saying here, what Niklas Luhmann said here, that he develops his ideas so much and he spends time with his notes so much and he writes so much and he thinks so much, and then he's saying that it's a nuisance to have the lack of time because I'm limited by my own mortality. Versus if any of us in this modern age say, oh my god, it's such a nuisance, the lack of time, what we mean is that we spend so much time working and then we spend all of our time, the rest of the time that we have, we spend it doom scrolling, we spend it on the internet, we spend it scrolling, and that's our limitation. But this man, he was thinking so much, writing so much, developing his thoughts so much, and then he was saying that it's a nuisance, this lack of time, that I can only live so much, do so much in that period of time. But we have the same time that he did, but we're spending it like doom scrolling. But this is what we should be doing instead, like developing our own thoughts and stuff. So I want to be like where he is, where I want to develop so much output, so much work, like a body of work, writings, all of that. and then be like, oh my god, I wish I could do more. Why I'm calling it a hybrid Zettelkasten system is because, linking to the second point that I told you, like, while you're journaling, it's really important to journal like on paper, because what your hand can do on paper is much greater than what you can do tippy typing. What I'm trying to say is journal, like write your thoughts on paper and everything. Write whatever you want, whether you call it a journal entry or an essay or a review, like a film review, book review. Write about everything. Write about the books you read, write about the movies you watch, write about the conversations you've had with your friend, write about your own like inner feelings, all of that. And then the essences of those writings, put them into your digital Zettelkasten. So then you're building like a hybrid web of knowledge, and keep growing that over time. So I want to get back to this as well. My Zettelkasten is like rotting, but that was basically my third tool for you, that like build a hybrid Zettelkasten system. The other thing I have for you is develop pieces, right? What that means is, like, from all of this journaling that you're doing, the reading that you're doing, the hybrid Zettelkasten that you're building, develop your little pieces, whether it's videos like what I'm doing, or whether it's like pieces in Substack, or it's whatever format medium you're using. But it's very important to develop your pieces, because what happens is, once you do that and you post that, first of all, the posting itself and the engaging with the community, like online or whatever, it gives you motivation. Like, hey, I'm gonna record and I'm gonna post, and like I'm gonna be all interesting. Like, it gives you that little, like, I don't want to call it a bad thing, because it's actually a good thing that you're using it as motivation, but that little bit of like vanity, validation, whatever you want to call it, a good way. Like, it gives you that motivation of like doing the thing, which is the writing and the thinking and all of that. You can use the posting and the engaging with your community, or like putting your thoughts out there and stuff, as like motivation. Obviously there needs to be an inner drive also to like do the thinking and the writing, otherwise that's not going to be enough. But like, what I'm trying to say is, there is this feeling of like importance that you get. And again, none of these in a bad sense. Okay, I'm gonna like make something of value also, and I'm gonna make something of meaning, and people are gonna engage with it, and add their own thoughts to it and everything. Like, all of this together is really nice. And the second reason is that, over a period of time, like, my YouTube channel now has become the place that I go to when I myself want motivation, or when I am struggling, or I'm stuck, or I'm confused. Because what happens is that I have, over like a period of a year now, I have made a lot of videos, and I have, not a lot, but I've made videos which are like my lessons, which are like kind of like my life lessons. And hopefully what you will do when you do this practice as well is that you will build your journey in this way. So anytime that like you're like really stuck and you're like, I've never come across this problem before, what do I do? Turns out you have come across this problem a million times, and you've like figured your ways out, and you have like developed those tools for yourself. And once you go and read your work, you will keep posting, or like watch your videos or whatever, those lessons will come back to you, and you will feel so proud of like your own journey, that you've like thought these things, and you've acted on these things, and you've shared these things. And it's this feeling of like pride as well, again, not in a bad way, but like you are like kind of proud of yourself, and you come to realize that you actually are doing a lot. So the other tool I have is to keep your eyes open, to spot, notice, engage, to meet people in your city, to meet new people who open you up to new experiences, just stuff like that. Keep your eyes open. I have this other video I'll link, which is like, it's about ways to like deepen your self-relationship, and I think there are like 3 or something tools in there out of the 11 ones, which are ways to like go on walks, which is just to say that like, keep your eyes open. It may seem to you at times that like your life is boring, that like, okay, what am I doing, or like, what more is there to life? But if you just keep your eyes open, you read and you meet new people, and they challenge you in new ways, and you interact with them, and you go out of your bubble, out of your shell. You just go for a walk also, and you observe like nature and the trees and the way that the birds are singing and all of that. Like, it can teach you a lot, as long as you have your eyes open and you have your like heart open also. The other tool I have for you is personal tracker. A personal tracker is, you can do it in a bunch of different ways. My suggestion would be to keep it very simple. I'm using Google Docs here. I have a table, okay? It's divided into like 4 columns. There's the date, and then I'm just gonna have to like show this to you. Okay, so here we are. Can you see this? So there's the date here. Over here, okay, what is the purpose of this? Hazel, give some context. Okay, the purpose of this is that basically you are using this tracker for keep it for one goal. Like, for me, it is reading. So for you, it could be writing, or it could be reading only. It could be like any of the things that I have said in this video, like journaling or whatever. So track one thing, all right? That is the context. So this is your date, right? This is your action. Like, it's a drop down menu essentially, and you're gonna give yourself grace is what you're gonna do here, which is why I have things like don't feel like. So the days you don't feel like, you just record it as don't feel like. In progress, all done, forgot to record, didn't have time, not started. These are the different options you can keep. And over a period of time, like if I scroll here and show you, you can just see your progress. My god, I don't have the limb strength to keep doing this. Okay, so scroll, went down. So like over a period of time, you can see like this month was like, you can see a lot of oranges because I just didn't feel like reading. And then the earlier months this year, you can see a lot of greens where I read like every single day. So I hope you're able to see that. So the third column is material. So you can see the different things I've read here. Like I was reading Shirley, right now I'm reading The Franchise Affair. So the third column is material, right? Like what text are you reading? And the fourth column is very important. This is your supporting actions. This is the most important part of the tracker, because if you just keep it like date, status, material, then all you're going to focus on is the days that you didn't show up. But it's very important that you have the column of supporting actions, because that tells you that one day I've recorded don't feel like, the day that I didn't read anything and I recorded don't feel like. On that day, the supporting actions are, I did career research. I lost my job recently. So that day I did career research. I rebuilt my resume. I filled in application questions. I applied to a job. I applied to another job. So the other days that I've recorded don't feel like. I finished like a reflex script, this video script. I solved a puzzle. I wrote a movie review. I played Clues by Sam, which is an amazing puzzle. I got a new high score on Clues by Sam. I wrote a brand new exciting idea that I had for like Reflect, and I realized a potential special author whose books I can read, and that is William Somerset Maugham. So like your supporting actions are going to basically like help you have grace, give yourself grace, because you're gonna realize that like even the days when you're like not showing up, you are still showing up and you're doing like so many other things, and it's okay to like not do every single thing every single day. Like that's just not possible. The next thing I have for you is reading so everything I've said so far, keep coming back to it. Keep reading your journal entries, keep reading your notes on your digital hybrid like Zettelkasten system. Keep reading the pieces that you're putting out that I said, like Substack, YouTube, whatever. Keep watching those, keep reading those, keep coming back to it. Your personal tracker that you're doing, your supporting actions of those, keep reading that. Everything that you're doing, keep like reading it, keep rereading it, because as human beings, we keep like comparing ourselves to others and we keep forgetting our progress and like seeing that we've done so much and we know so much and like we've accomplished so much. And so we need to like, and also like remember our thoughts, our feelings, like all of that, like all the lessons we've already learned, all the tools we've already developed and stuff. So that's my next tool. Keep coming back to it. The last thing that I have for you, this is the very last one. Create your Magnum Opus. This simply means that out of everything, all of this knowledge, now let's say you take this video and you run with it. Like I have also not run with it, but let's say you run with it and you just go at it and you implement and apply all of this for like a year. Now imagine at the end of a year, you've read so many books, you've written so much, so many journal entries, you've like put out your little pieces, your Substack, your YouTube, whatever. You've done all of this and you have now so much knowledge, right? You have so much of that and so much self-awareness, like, so you have all of this with you, in you. And so all of this, take it and make it into like one large thing. No matter what your themes are, no matter what your topics are, just make one large piece out of it, whether it's a film, it's a book, but like make that piece. Don't think that like, okay, this is beyond me, or I can't do it, or like I'm not an artist. Like just do it, just shut up and do it, because that is amazing. We should all have Magnum Opuses or buys. We should do it. Yeah, that's all I have for you. This is a long one. I thought it would be a short one. It was a long one. I feel like I rambled. Did I ramble? Yeah, so like that's pretty much it. If you like this, check out my other videos. If you wanna like say hi, drop a comment, etc. And if you wanna like drop any suggestions of like books you're reading, films you're watching, etc., do that as well in the comments. And like, subscribe, etc. And yeah, take care, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.